Smoke. Seems like that was all I could smell. No matter which way I turned my head. I thought sleeping next to the baby would help. Babies always smell a whole heap better than grown folks, even when they're dirty. So I buried my nose in the crease of Vera's tiny little neck. But the smell of smoke and burning was all there was. I've never wanted to scream so bad in my life. But I knew I couldn't. It would kill all of us. I sat up and saw everybody still tangled together. Everybody touching another body so we'd know if we'd been disturbed, if we'd been caught. They still trying to rest, trying to find some peace in the middle of this hell we was all living. I'd see this one jerk their leg or that one twist their arm and moan. And know that the hell had chased them up into their dreams, like the smell of smoke chased me out of mine. And I had been dreaming. I was halfway woke, but I was. I was thinking on Henry Matthews and the day he stopped by the house asking after my pa about a job. Henry knew full well my pa had been hired out at the docks for about a month already. He also knew my pa wasn't home. He wanted to see me by myself. I'd caught Henry looking my way at church or when I'd go to his pa's store for whatever we needed at the house. Then one day, as I was buying a length of fabric for a Sunday dress I was making, he say,
"Your name Inez, right?"
And I said, "Yeah, and you're Henry Matthews. But what that got to do with anything?" Then I went on and bought my fabric and walked out. I waited till I got down the road a ways and laughed. Woo, he was mad as fire. So the next time I came in, he was ready.
"Inez Williams,"
he say.
"Seem like somebody as smart as you be too good to taking in laundry."
Without batting an eye, I told him, I'm too poor for high-mindedness. Besides, somebody got to do the laundry, ain't it? This time, he followed me out. He offered to carry my packages. I said no. Carrying what's yours makes you stronger, is what Granny Co always said. I take her word over the Bible any day. He called me stubborn, then walked me home, talking my ears clean off about somebody named Du Bois, Negro folks, money, and education. Seemed like he wanted me to be something, but that something was too close to white folks for my comfort. Niggas get money and forget they niggas. I let him talk anyhow. He's awful handsome, and so tall I'd have to tip my head back to meet his eyes. I love how dizzy it'd make me. We carried on like that for months. He'd find reasons to walk me wherever I was going, or come ask me something he already knew the answer to. Same as that day when he wanted to see me by myself. 2 days before the white folks tried to burn the town down around us and kill every nigga in sight. I was scared. but I couldn't tell you what of. It wasn't the first time I ever been alone with a man. Quiet as kept. I'd laid with a few of them already. I was curious. I was also disappointed. Seemed like a man ought to be taught how to properly use the damn thing if they all gonna be so fascinated with it. Looking on Henry that day, I felt like he'd be different. And it was. The way he brought me to him. The way he touched me. The way he made me rock like the ocean. The way he cared for me was different. We laid there after, quiet as mice, like my pa wouldn't be on his way in and expecting supper when he got there. I got some sense and got up off that pallet. I told Henry to do the same, but he just sat there with the funniest look in his eye. Then he said,
"Marry me, Inez."
Bad as I wanted to, I couldn't tell him I would. Henry Matthews, I know I ain't the first piece of tail you ever had.
Inez, please. I want to take you away from here.
I ain't going nowhere my daddy ain't. I'm all he got. And he all I got. Ain't nothing outside Wilmington for me.
Something bad is coming. I can't tell you what it is. A bunch of colored folks are heading out of town in 2 days' time.
This nigga ain't. You must be crazy if you think...
Inez, please.
He snatched me by my arm so hard I thought it was gonna come off. I ain't know what got hold of him, and I ain't want to know. I pulled myself away from him, and I screamed, "Get out of my house, Henry Matthews!" We looked at each other the last time we ever would in this life. Then he was gone. What a fool I was. While the Daily Record burned, and the white man was wild-eyed in the streets looking for niggas to kill, I was looking for my pa. I looked where I prayed he'd be, home or gathered with church folks. Then I looked where I knew he'd be, down by the docks. That's where I found him. Eyes wide open. A hole blowed clean through his head. The smell of smoke was finna drive me crazy. So I slid from between Sophia and Vera, making sure I didn't stir, and went down to the creek.
When the battle's over, we shall wear a crown. Yes, we shall wear a crown. Yes, we shall wear a crown. When the battle's over, we shall wear a crown. That new Jerusalem.
I thought I was singing it in my head, but it was in the air all around. The spirit moved in me. I went down to the water, slipped off my dress, and let myself sink down in it. It felt so warm. I was so tired. If God had called me home right then, I'd been ready to go. But then, I was lifted up. My arms and legs were no longer mine. They were wrapped around a trunk rooted deep in the water, deeper than any creek should have been. The trunk grew out the creek and split itself 3 times. I lifted my head toward heaven when one of the great branches bent itself down to me. On the end of it was a face. The face was my own. Not as it was today or had been before, but how it is. Somewhere else. Another self. I looked into my own eyes and saw my life from the first breath to the last I draw in this life. I looked into my own eyes and saw the life inside of me, the one Henry and I had made. And the second branch bent itself to me, and I saw Henry's face. It was in that somewhere else too. I looked into his eyes and saw his life from his first breath to the time he walked out my house, and then there was smoke. And the third branch bent itself to me. It was a strange face with no mouth, a nose, but with eyes that right cut through me. I looked into them eyes, and it spoken to me.
Call me Messi. Build the city. Jerusalem waits. Call me Messi.
Call me Messi.
Build the city.
Build the city.
Jerusalem waits.
Jerusalem waits.
Call me Messi.
Call me Messi.
Build
the city.
Jerusalem,
Jerusalem waits.
Call me Messi. Build the
Build.
city.
Waits. Call me.
Build the city.
Build.
Jerusalem waits.
Waits. Call me Messi. Build the city. Jerusalem waits. And I woke up. My nose still stuck in Vera's tiny neck. My hand still holding Sophia's arms. My body soaking wet.
We are an ecosystem. Culture is an ecosystem. There is the pine tree and there is the forest. The pine tree needs the forest just as the forest needs the pine tree. There must be balance in this relationship. One tree can never completely outgrow the forest, but each tree is free to reach for the sun. Intersectionality. We are many things. Self is an ecosystem. No one person is a monolith. Welcome all of yourselves. Build relationships with your many selves. Understand their joy and pain. They are both separate and connected. Use your many selves to build community with others. Equity. Our experience is not all experiences. Human beings navigate this plane of existence in various forms. This plane erects barriers for each of us, some shared, others not. One must transform this plane so that we all can maneuver freely, be it physically, emotionally, or mentally.